At this point, I've spent a lot of time looking at a bunch of different Etsy shops, and I have compiled a list of the most common mistakes that I see people make, or the most common suggestions that I have when somebody orders a shop review from me. So today is going to be part 2 of my most common mistakes. Not mine, but everybody else's. I'm not saying I haven't done these, but you know, not anymore. If you're new to the channel, my name is Abby and this is Type 9 Studio, where I help you start and grow your Etsy shop into a small business, and I've been a full-time seller on Etsy myself for 2 years. Since this is part 2, I'll leave part 1 linked in the description in case you missed it. The first mistake on today's list that I see a lot is only having 1 or 2 photos. And as proof that I have actually done this myself in my shop, I will link to my reacting to my first Etsy listings video. I still had them set as inactive in my shop, so I was able to go back and look at them and the photos and the descriptions and everything, and it was not good. Some of them only had 1, maybe 2 photos. So why this is a mistake. Your photos are the first impression that you have of your listing, and the only way for your customer to experience it, since they are not seeing it in person and can't like see it in different lighting and touch it and pick it up, smell it, you know, see how it feels. So using all 10 photos and the video as often as possible is going to help you create that connection with the customer and show them every angle and see what they need to see about the product. Because if I am shopping on Etsy or wherever else and there's only 1 photo, that doesn't really give me a good idea of what it is, what it looks like, the relative size of it. Is it going to match with this decor, or just any other question that you have before buying something? Only 1 or 2 photos is probably not going to answer it. Number 2 on this list is going to be a too short description. So in my notes I put non-existent description, but you can't even post a listing with no description at all, I'm pretty sure. Despite the knowledge that most people are not going to read the description, they might glance at it, so you want to make your description easy to skim and get information from, like at a glance, because people are probably not going to read every single word. Your description actually plays a pretty big factor in your conversion rate as well. So having a longer description, or a more, not necessarily longer, more wordy, but a more detailed description is going to lead to more conversions because it's going to answer people's questions. So I'll explain what I mean by more detailed in a second, but you want to answer people's questions because even though it's open there for you, for them to contact you, are they really going to contact you if they can just go click the back button, go to the search and find somebody else's listing that has information they need? So when I say not too wordy, you don't want to have big paragraphs in there. Like, try not to put more than 2 sentences in a line. You want to skip lines, make it easy for people to read. And I actually have a template that I use in my description, so I just have a copy and paste thing on like a Google Doc, and I will just have a template of the things that are the same for every listing, and then I'll change out the details for each listing. Very first thing in your description needs to be your SEO sentence. So Google SEO and Etsy as well will look at the first sentence of your description. At least I believe it's the first 150 characters to find SEO about the product. So anything after that is not really going to count for SEO. It's just going to be more information for the customer. But that first sentence is really important. And if your listing shows up in Google or something, or on like the Facebook ads, Instagram ads, it's going to have that first bit of the description to tell the people what the thing is. So you want that to tell them what it is. So if you have the keyword in there for the SEO, then you can just add in more information to make it enticing when somebody's reading it. So just have like the keyword in there somewhere naturally, and just have like a descriptive sentence that's kind of drawing people in and giving them information about it as well. Other important things are going to be the dimensions and size, materials, and just specifications about the product. And then you want to have the care instructions if that is relevant. So if it's clothing or something, fabric, tell people how to wash it, or if it's like I just did a shop review for candles and they had like instructions about burning it and like make sure you trim the wick and all that stuff, which is good to include. And also jewelry is another thing to have care instructions for. Then you want to have information about your shipping. So keep in mind that some people that visit your shop may never have used Etsy before, so you want to just kind of guide them along in that. Hopefully they've made their way to the description. So with the shipping information, I put like if the thing is going to be in a gift box or if it's going to come wrapped somehow, and just give them an idea of what to expect. I mean, you also want to have that, like a picture of the packaging in a photo as well. You also want to put if you have the free shipping over $35 or if you ship internationally, then you can put your processing time there as well. I don't, because if it changes, I don't want to have to go back and change my descriptions. So I'll just kind of say orders of shipping within the estimated time frame below, and you know, Etsy has that little thing now under the description that has like the timeline of when they should expect the order. So that was super helpful. I'm glad that they did that. Another thing you can do is add links back to your shop. I know this works and it has worked for everybody that I've suggested it to. Add a link to that specific section in your shops. Like if you have a candle section, link back to the candle section, and then put a link back to your shop, like just in general. So you can say like, for more candles, click here, or to visit my shop, click here. And then you also want like an elevator pitch style, just very quick, maybe 1 to 2 sentences about your shop and your why, or your just a theme behind your shop. Then that little snippet does help you make a personal connection with the customer, which is so important, especially because they go to Etsy for that aspect. And then if you want, you can put your social media handles or information about how to join your email list if you have one. Even though that does sound like a lot of information to add to the description, that if you do just that and do it concisely and don't put too many words, then it is going to be plenty. And like I said, to break it up, so you want to have like header titles in there as well. So put like care instructions in caps, or like put emojis around it if you want to, if it matches your branding. And then separate it out so people can see that really quickly. Like their eye will go to the emojis first, and they'll see, okay, care instructions, shipping info, just seeing exactly what they need to go to. Number 3 is going to be a long processing time. So for your processing time when figuring that out, you want to be short so people aren't driven away, but also you want it to be long enough to be realistic for you. So don't put 1 business day if you cannot ship orders the next day. That will probably get you more sales because people will filter their search by 1 day, but if you can't do it, then it's going to be pointless. And if you repeatedly are late shipping orders, Etsy will give you the chop. I try to get mine out the next day, but I have mine set to 1 to 3 days just in case something comes up, or maybe I'm not feeling well one day, or I don't get to the post office in time. That's usually the case because I'm like running in there at 4:30, 4:45. But don't put like 1 to 2 weeks if you know you're going to be able to ship within a few days, because that's going to put people off. They're going to say, oh, that's going to take too much time. Maybe I need this as a gift for an event that's coming up very soon. I don't want to wait that long. And they may not message you to ask. Some people will. They'll be like, hey, can you get this to me by this date? But they might not, and they'll just move on to somebody else's shop. That's it for today. Let me know if you have any questions or anything else that you want me to do videos on. I do have more of these common mistake videos planned. I'm trying to space them out a little bit. Don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.